Hey everybody, Dan here with Pain Free You. Shooting this on a Friday. The week is done. Weekend is here. So you're probably seeing this on Saturday. Today's topic is going to be this. I talk about this all the time. And I'll tell you what that is in a minute. But if I talk about it all the time, it's pretty important. So, enjoy. The birds are back a little bit. Airplane's back. Pilot boy. It's not too loud. Alright, so I talk about this all the time. It's one word. Clarity. A confused brain is going to likely keep symptoms going, whether it be pain or other type of symptoms or illness. The people who I come across who are most fearful and freaked out and in a panic and in despair are the people who have the least amount of clarity on the cause of what is going on with them. And so, there are definitely some people who have experienced some legitimate, real medical challenges, right? And so it is very easy to assume that if you've had real, legitimate medical challenges, and I don't mean like bulging discs or, typical muscular skeletal pain type of stuff, but also like some disease-based processes, cancers, tumors, things of that sort. Some of these folks have experienced, in many cases, a lifetime of health issues. Now, it is very possible that many of them were TMS, or what I call perceived danger pain or symptoms. But it's very possible some of them were legitimate medical situations, which makes it really, really challenging for them to figure out what's going on now. And so clarity is so important. And I know it's hard to figure that out at the time that you're in the middle of all this fear and despair and worry, and for somebody who's had a lot of challenges over time, the fear is palpable. It's real. So I can't tell you if you're TMS or if your symptoms are TMS. Not sure a doctor can tell you that, but you can kind of figure it out for yourself. And if you've got multiple symptoms, you can do the assessments per symptom and get an idea, okay, these three, definitely TMS. This one, a little bit unsure. And do that for yourself. Spend the time. I'm going to point to not 2, but 3 assessments that you can go through. And that way you'll get a consensus among the different assessments to see where you are. So, painfreeyou.com/start. And on that page there will be a link to the pain test. And if you don't have pain, you can substitute your symptom for the word pain. Right below that link is a series of questions formulated by Dr. Schubner. It's called the FIT, F-I-T assessment. Stands for functional, intermittent, and triggered. Go through that. See how many of those you answer affirmatively for your particular symptom. And if you've got multiple symptoms, go through it for each symptom. And I know if you got 20 symptoms, that might take you a little time. But in my opinion, nothing else is more important than trying to figure out if your symptoms are behaving like TMS or perceived danger pain, or more like a structural problem. And then the third assessment is on the PPD Association website. So ppdassociation.org/symptoms. Scroll down. There's a series of 30 questions there. And see how many of those you answer yes to. All right, that's 3 different assessments that you can run your situation through and gain the clarity that you need in order to begin teaching your brain that you're actually okay. And there may be, if you've got a bunch of stuff, there may be some that, okay, maybe that's structural. But here's the point. Even with a legitimate structural problem, teaching the brain that you're not afraid of it and that it's not life-threatening. It is just simply painful. But if you can teach the brain that nothing damaging is going on, you may very well be able to utilize these TMS concepts to dial down pain from a real structural issue. And I really don't want to confuse people here with this and having them start to question, oh my goodness, Dan's talking about real problems. Well, I thought I had TMS. Now he's causing me to doubt it. No, no, no. If you've done the assessments and it looks like TMS according to the assessments, then don't let any doubt creep in. If your symptoms behave like TMS, then it is. And that's exactly what these assessments help you determine. Because it's not the medical diagnosis, the medical label, the imaging study that determines if something is TMS or not. All that is a doctor's opinion on what might be causing the pain. But the assessments are absolutely targeted. And the ones on the PPD Association and the FIT assessment, those were formulated by some of the best TMS mind-body doctors in the world. So you can trust that if you're answering yes to some of those items, your symptoms are being caused by the brain, not a body problem. So I talk about it a lot. I always talk about clarity, getting off the fence. Because again, usually when somebody is really freaking out and really terrified, it's because they're uncertain. Dan, is this TMS? Is this TMS? Look, it's hard for me to tell you because I don't know how your pain's behaving or your symptoms are behaving. But you can figure that out. So please go through those 3 assessments for your symptoms. And if you got multiple symptoms, run each symptom through it. Take some notes. Make a record of this and say, all right, pain test, I got this score. That's TMS. Okay. The FIT assessment, I checked off 5 items. Well, yeah, if you're checking off any of those, it's TMS or perceived danger pain. And if you got several of the answers affirmatively on the PPD Association /symptoms 30 questions, that's TMS, right? Get a consensus per symptom. Even if it takes you a couple hours, do it. It's so worth it. Because when you get clarity that your symptoms are behaving like TMS/PDP, perceived danger pain, you know what you can do with that? You can dial down the fear. And when you dial down the fear, you don't spend all your day ruminating on, oh my God, I don't know what it is, and you spend less time checking on your body, and it's got to be the starting point. It's foundational. Understanding what causes pain, perceived danger, in my opinion, is a great explanation. It's not just about emotions. It could be any perceived danger. And if you've had a lifetime of medical issues, and you've had a lifetime of symptoms, and multiple doctors, and countless doctors, and treatment, you've likely got a lot of medical trauma, which is feeding into these perceptions of danger. So it's super easy to understand how many of us got where we got to. And I will say, none of it's your fault. I say it over and over again. That's one thing I also say a lot. It's not your fault. It's just where you ended up. Through luck of the draw, you had a whole bunch of stuff going on, or maybe even just one thing that lasted 21 years or whatever it may have been. And it's really easy to get sucked into the medical world and really chase physical treatments for something that is not physical. TMS, perceived danger pain, means that the brain is creating the pain simply based on the perception of danger. So clarity is your number 1 job. And once you've done those TMS assessments, I'm really going to urge you to make a decision to close the investigation, Case closed. Jury's reached a verdict. No more investigation is needed. Accept these assessments as what's going on. Because again, formulated by some of the best TMS doctors in the world. And so if it indicates TMS, don't talk yourself out of it, because that's just going to delay recovery. Lack of clarity, doubt, delays recovery. Decision that I'm actually okay and all this stuff, or most of it, is TMS, will speed up your recovery, because you'll be able to dial down your fear with the accurate information, because you know what your symptoms are now. And if there is something that's like kind of borderline or not 100% affirmative TMS, if it's not life-threatening, usually things are not, then make a decision that you're going to apply this TMS approach to everything and see what happens. For the absolute TMS stuff, you should absolutely get a result. For the things that are a little bit on the borderline, you may be very pleasantly surprised that when your brain is no longer as terrified, the whole system settles down. So, fear is an amplifier. Safety will bring things down. There is zero downside to taking an approach that I recommend, which is teaching the brain you're okay and there's nothing harmful going on, nothing life-threatening. We're going to dial down the system continually, dial down the brain and nervous system's vigilance and sensitivities. And again, you may be very surprised that even some of the things that may or may not come out, as TMS strongly on the assessments, you may be very well surprised that, in fact, they respond to this type of an approach as well. So I hope this makes sense. I hope it's clear how important this is. Because if you're sitting there going, yeah, but I don't think this is, I don't think it is, it can't be TMS, it's hurt so bad. Look, the pain level, the symptom level, is not a determining factor in whether or not the brain's creating it or not. As a matter of fact, sometimes brain-created pain can far exceed a physical injury. Right? So don't let the way it feels cause you to throw out the assessments and say they don't matter, because I know how it feels. The assessments are probably more correct than your sensations depict. Hope that makes sense. So, love you guys and gals. It's Friday night. I'm going to put the camera down, upload the video, and enjoy a Friday night. So, love you guys and gals. Hope you have a good weekend, and we'll see you tomorrow anyway. Take care. For anybody who doesn't know, that's a high five. Somebody commented that they thought it was like my favorite uncle bopping me on the head. But it's a high five. It's because I got your back and I know you can do this. Take care.